The Marvels opens officially tomorrow, the newest installment of the MCU, an MCU that is in a place that it never thought it would be in, struggling. Now, granted, Marvel's definition of struggling would be considered massive success for a lot of other studios and their franchises. I acknowledge that. I'm not saying it's not. But by Marvel's standards, the MCU has been struggling. I think that's fair to say. I mean, it hasn't all been falling on its face. They've had some big, wonderful things that they've put out, right? Like Shang-Chi was fantastic. Ms. Marvel was fantastic. I'm liking Loki season 2. Can't wait to see the finale tomorrow. But as a whole, the overall quality of their product has been down, right? I don't think anybody, even the biggest fans, can disagree with that. So when they started promoting the Marvels and they were putting out, and we've talked about it a lot on this show, a very pedestrian marketing campaign that hasn't really done anything to get anybody excited. But then the killer, and we talked about it on this show, when we found out that they weren't lifting the review embargo for the Marvels, I said, well, there you have it. That's it. The studio does not believe in this film. And as I always say, hey, studio, if you don't believe in your film, why should I believe in your film? And everything we have heard from including all of you guys watching, with very, very, very few exceptions, everybody has been expecting this movie to completely be horrible. And when people ask me, hey, John, are you excited about the Marvels? I would say, I'm interested in the Marvels. I don't know that I can say I'm excited because the trailers have not got us excited. So I'll be honest with you. When I woke up this morning and I knew the review embargo was lifting, and Anne said, okay, there's the first thing. And I said, where's it at? I'm not going to lie to you. I was fully expecting to see Morbius kind of numbers. Considering none of the journalists I follow have been excited about this film. None of you guys have been excited about this film. The trailers haven't done anything to raise people's hopes. And the very fact that they weren't releasing the review embargo until the day of, or at least the day before, I mean, that's a killer. That's a knife in the heart right there. I was fully expecting to hear mid-20s to low 30s. So I was a little bit surprised when I opened it up and saw that actually the majority of the critics seem to like it. As of this moment, there's 110 reviews being counted on Rotten Tomatoes. And they are saying, and right now they're saying 55%. The actual statistic at this moment, well, that's funny. This number is different than the first one, but the actual number they're giving right now is that as of right now, out of this number says they're counting 94 reviews. The top part says 110. Anyway, they're saying that out of the 94 critics, 52 like the movie and say it's good. 42 say it's not. Let me see if I can blow this up a bit. 52 say it's good, and I blew it up too much. So now I got to... 52 say it's good, 42 say it's not. Okay. That is significantly better than I thought it was going to be. And Sean, you and I were talking about this before the thing. I think this, you said too, this is higher than you thought it was going to be. For me, it's considerably higher than I thought it was going to be. Okay, great. The reviews are better than expected. 55% is... At
55%, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, right? And that's the point. That's the point. This is where the MCU is at now. That a 55% comes up, and you got to go, and I catch myself saying, wow, that's better than I thought it was going to be. And I think if most people are honest, they'll say, yeah, that's better than I thought it would be too. Because everything we've seen so far has suggested that it would be lower than this. And you know what? There's still more reviews to come in. The Rotten Tomatoes number always fluctuates. It could go up a little bit, could go down significantly. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. But that brings us again to this point that remember the days when a new Marvel project was coming out and we got ready for the day that the review embargoes were lifted, usually a week or two before the movie came out, because back then Marvel believed in their projects. And when those numbers were getting ready to come out, all of us expected to see 80 plus. That used to be the expectation. 80 plus. And when one would come in at like 77, we'd go, what went wrong? How did the great Marvel movie machine, how did it get as low as 77? And here we are now. Flash forward just like 2-3 years. And we're in this place now where a movie like this gets a 55. Again, that means the majority of the critics like it. Great. But we're seeing 55 and we're going, well, it's better than we thought it would be. Imagine going back 3 years, going back to just before Endgame or sometime between Infinity War and Endgame or even before Infinity War, and talking about a time that's coming when a new Marvel movie will come out and it getting a 55 is making us go, well, that's better than we all thought it was going to get. We would have pulled a Vincini. We would have said it's inconceivable. But that's where we are. And you know, when I said back right around before Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and what a stinker that was, came out, I said, here's the problem, Sean, the magic is gone. And when I say that the magic is gone, a lot of people misinterpret what I mean by that, because people say, oh, so you're saying Marvel can't make anything good? No, obviously Marvel can still make good things. They do still make good things here and there. Guardians 3, wonderful, right? So they can. But Sean, when I say the magic, what I mean is this, that back in phases 1, 2, and 3, and you know, phases 1, 2, and 3 had the odd film that wasn't great too, but in phases 1, 2, and 3, they did what no other studio could do. That every time a new Marvel movie was coming out, we all expected it to be great. Yep. We would go into the theaters not wondering if it would be great. We used to go into the theaters expecting, like we just knew that it's going to be great and we're going to have a great time. It was magic. And since, I'll say, Endgame, that magic is gone. We have moved, and I've said this before, we have moved from a place that we're going in expecting a movie to be great to now we're walk into a Marvel film hoping it'll be good. We've gone from expecting it would be great to hoping it'll be just good. And that's not the way the MCU used to be. But it's where we're at. So yeah, 100%. Like I see some people saying in the live chat, how can you say that at 55% is better than expected? Because it is better than expected. You all thought it would be lower than that. I thought it would be lower than that. It's better than we expected. But the fact that 55 is better than we expected is a horrible testament to where Marvel is right now. And it just, quite frankly, to use a biblical term, it makes me lament, Sean. It makes me lament where the MCU is now. Now, look, I'm looking forward tomorrow to watching the next episode of Loki. Yeah, but it's just that time, that magic, that era that we used to be in when all these Marvel films would come out and they were all great. Those days have been replaced with Moon Knight. And those days have been replaced with She-Hulk. And those days have been replaced with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And those days have been replaced with a Captain Marvel movie, the Marvels coming out and getting a middling 55%. And we're going, phew, glad it wasn't worse. And beyond that, guys, the box office for this thing looks bleak. Now, you guys know that the box office projections for the Marvels has been the opening weekend was going to be between $75 and $80 million. Well, as we talked about yesterday on our open mic show, those projections have come down all the way down to 60% or $60 million. Granted, most movies getting a $60 million opening, they'd be popping bottles. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but to go from $80 million, which would have been half of what the first Captain Marvel made, down to $60 million is concerning. And here's where it gets even more concerning, if you guys will indulge me for but a moment. This is the AMC. If those of you who joined me on Open Mic yesterday, we did this little exercise yesterday, but follow me along as we do it again. This is the AMC ticket ordering page for my theater that I go to, the AMC Tyler Galleria in Riverside, California. Not Sticksville, Cahoots, some tiny little town. Riverside, California is a big city, about an hour outside of LA. This is the theater I go to, all right? So this right now, the page is open to Friday. That's the official, we know it comes out tomorrow, but the official opening day is Friday, right? Let's look at the IMAX screen, shall we? Let's look at there's a 5:45, but let's look at the first primetime IMAX screening at 8:30 p.m., okay? The first primetime on the opening Friday of the Marvels. How many tickets have they sold? 12. Well, maybe it's more than that. 3, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 tickets. 21 tickets in the first Friday primetime screening on an IMAX screen. They've sold like 21 tickets. Okay, if we go to the AMC Prime Dolby Theater at 7:15, yeah, the Prime Dolby Theater, 7:15, it's practically sold out. You got some single tickets here and there. You got the front section, which nobody likes to sit in. Okay, not bad. But let's go to the first screening in a regular screen. Let's look at a 6:30 p.m. screening on their regular laser projected AMC theater. How many people have bought tickets to go see it on the opening Friday night? We got one group of 7 people. Look at those empty seats. One row, one group. At least I'm assuming these people are in a group. Hopefully not a bunch of individuals who've just gotten seats all beside each other. But one group of 7 people have gone in. Okay, so let's jump back and let's look at the Thursday, which is tomorrow, the opening night. If we go to the AMC Prime screen, again, we're going to see it's pretty much sold out other than the front section. You see a couple of single seats there. That's fine. That's in the AMC Prime theater. Well, what about that IMAX 8:30 screen tomorrow night? Look at this. 3, 4, 5, 9, 14. Like again, around the 20 mark. This is opening night, guys. This is opening night on an IMAX screen. And if we go down to the 6:30 screening of in the laser, look at that. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 or 12 seats sold. So their prime movie theater, it's getting sold out. Okay, great. That's wonderful. But that one screen is not going to make you your money. So between the sad state that the MCU is in right now, again, they put out there's still some great stuff that comes out. I'm not saying they don't. I'm enjoying some of the stuff they're putting out, but they're just putting out a lot more substandard stuff than normal. So that state of the MCU combined with the fact that they haven't been able to go out and promote the film. That's hurt it too. Yes. But I mean, coming off of Secret Wars or Secret Invasion, I should say, coming off of stuff like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, coming off of stuff like She-Hulk, coming off of stuff like Moon Knight. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Rocket Money. Do you struggle to save money every month? With Rocket Money, you can quickly identify all those sneaky subscriptions that keep charging you month after month and cancel any you no longer use. For example, did you know that over 80% of people have subscriptions that they've completely forgotten about? It's too easy to subscribe to a free trial of something and then completely forget about it once you stop using it. That's why I'm such a big fan of Rocket Money. I've told you guys before that when I started using Rocket Money, I realized that I was still subscribed to a gym in another city I had moved away from 2 years ago. Also, my music music service? Yeah, I found out I was still subscribed to 2 others. How much do you think you're paying a month on subscriptions? Most people think they're paying $80 a month, but they're actually paying closer to $200. That's why I use Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. With Rocket Money, you can easily cancel the ones you don't want with just the press of a button. With over 5 million users and counting, Rocket Money has helped save its customers on an average of $720 a year and $1 billion in total savings so far. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Campea. That's rocketmoney.com/Campea. rocketmoney.com/Campea. You know, Sean, it's just, we're at a point now where we're opening up seating charts for a brand new MCU film and seeing tons of empty seats. We're seeing a 55% and going, wow, that's better than we thought. What world are we living in? Like, that's just state thing. Anyway, Sean, you actually had a chance to see the film. Mm-hmm. But you also see all this kind of stuff transpiring. What's your perspective on this whole thing?
It's really disappointing. My channel grew on the wave of Phase 3, that excitement that we were all so excited to see these movies. There was that expectation of quality. You trusted the brand, and there was a certain level of consistency. We all had our least favorites, but there was consistency with what they were doing. And that's the thing that feels like it's gone. I have so many conversations with people where they say, I just can't keep up with all of it. I've been disappointed too many times. So it's no longer, I go no matter what. It's not even, I go unless I've heard that it's not going to be good. It's shifted to, I don't go, I don't watch it unless I have heard it is good, combined with, what homework do I need to do before I watch this movie? And that's such a shift from not that long ago. And like, even for me, I like to go opening night to a very specific screen that's the biggest screen in my area. And it used to be, if I wasn't there right then when tickets went on sale, I wouldn't be able to get tickets to that screen. I was late to the Marvels and they hadn't sold any tickets for 2 days. And now it's pretty full now. It's not packed, but it's pretty full now. But it took forever because that rush, that demand, that it's must see, that trust, it's just gone. And this movie is not going to be the one that wins people back. Superficially, it's very fun. It has a lot of humor, but it is a mess with the story, the tone. So I took my 9-year-old and she had a lot of fun with it. I got home. My wife asked, do you think I'll like the movie? And I said, I think you'll have a lot of fun with this movie, but it's not a good movie. And it's filled with a lot of things that are the exact sort of cringe, what on earth are you doing moments that are causing people to be confused as to how the MCU is getting so far off course with some of these odd choices. And in the case of this movie, with all the rumors of 4 weeks of reshoots and test screenings to try and correct things, you watch the movie and you feel that. It feels like big chunks of the movie are just missing. It feels like a sequel to a Captain Marvel film that we haven't seen. That if we had seen that movie,
I like to say that again. That was a really good statement.
So what I said in my review is that this movie is both season 2 of Miss Marvel as well as Captain Marvel 3. And I said that right. It feels like it's a sequel to a Captain Marvel movie that we haven't seen. And when you see the film, that'll make sense because there's kind of like flashbacks and they use exposition to explain things. And you're like, wait, that's the Captain Marvel 2 that I wanted. And you watch this movie and it informs Captain Marvel's backstory, the villain's backstory, their relationship to each other, the stakes, the conflict, everything. And it's just like casually mentioned as exposition at some point in time. So it just undermines the whole film that we didn't get to experience that. And so it's just a movie that is very, very messy, but it's superficially very entertaining. So I'm not terribly surprised that a lot of people out of the theater went, that was a lot of fun. That was a blast because actually, as you said, where it's a great sign when an actor is so good that they can stand out in a bad movie. You said that about the Secret Headquarters. That's Iman Vellani in this movie. She's fantastic.
Oh, I
She's
love
great.
her so
She's
much.
so charming. She's so fun. And one of the great things about this weekend, a ton of people are going to leave this film and go watch Miss Marvel for the first time because she's easily the best thing about the film. But she's not in a good movie. She's in a very messy movie that she's carrying on her shoulders by herself. She's carrying this gigantic movie with her charm and her instant likability. So, man, it's frustrating. Like, I don't want to come out of a Marvel movie and be disappointed being the bearer of bad news, but if all you need is a superficial, fun roller coaster ride with a lot of laughs, you'll get that. There's a ton of cringe. It feels like parts of the movie are missing, and it is just messy. The tone's all over the place. It's just so disappointing to see where the MCU is currently at.
And breaking news, the tomato meter now on the Marvels has gone up to 56%. That changes everything.
Woo! Well,
Changes everything.
Great.
Again, I mean, it's just a saying that I feel like I need to get on a t-shirt. We've gone from going into a Marvel movie expecting it to be great to now we go into a Marvel film hoping that it's good. And this is just not good. Again, I get it. There are some movies that'll come out at 55%. It's like, you know what? Great. Blah, blah. Maybe it's a Godzilla movie or maybe it's a something other kind of movie. But this is a franchise that we became accustomed to going in, having an absolute blast, critics loving it, box office loving it, audiences loving it. And now we're at, hey, 55. Better than we thought it would be. And it's just...
For over 10 years, for 25 movies, every single one of them was fresh.
Yeah.
The low mark was 66 with Thor: The Dark World. That was the low mark. And for years, everything was even over 70%. As you mentioned, we expected it to be over 80%. And in the last several years, that third movie, rotten. And we're not surprised that it's rotten.
Nope.
Like,
we're actually surprised
shocking.
it's as high as it is.
Yeah. We were shocked when Eternals went rotten. Like, oh no, it finally happened. And then coming after several things, after the trailers, after Secret Invasion, we went, oh yeah, that's not too bad. Oh, that hurts my stomach. I'm like, what has happened?
Yeah. So, guys, just by the way, it's an interesting little side note. You know, a bunch of, not all the reviews are in, but there's some notable ones. Some of the notable positive reviews have come from The Hollywood Reporter, IGN, Guardian, USA Today, TV Line. Some of the notable negative reviews that have come out for it, Variety, The New York Post, Newsday, The Times, The Associated Press. So, I mean, it's truly is almost completely divided right down the middle between the number of critics who liked it versus the number who didn't. Yeah. It's just that's just not good enough for a Marvel film. That just doesn't cut it. And if you're going to continue to just put out mediocre product, we're going to continue to see the MCU slide. And I take no joy in saying that. I love the MCU. I want to see it thrive. I want to see all movies be great. I want to see all movies be successful. But this path they're on, man, I mean, everybody knows they need to make a course correction, but it's just with every new thing that comes out, a few exceptions, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, stuff like that. But it becomes more and more evident they need a massive course correction and they need it soon. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.